Jen here. Happy Sunday, S-U-N-S-O-N day. So I have a few videos that I plan on uploading, and yeah, I'm probably going to do them back to back because I don't want to forget about them, and they are relevant. So if you're interested, I would advise turning that little bell on or just keeping an eye on the channel. I know it's super small right now. That doesn't really bother me if it doesn't bother you. But if you're interested in the information that I share, I hope that you will keep an eye out. Because, again, at first glance, it might not seem like it all goes together, but I promise you that it does. And I'm trying to reach different people this time in hopes that just unlocking some minds out there. And the goal, as always, is to remind people that we have free will and that we are souled beings and that we have spirits, first and foremost, that inhabit these bodies made of physical matter that drive us and motivate us and move us. And also, though, that our bodies are temples. I want to talk about that more as well. I do not think that there would be such a push to get us out of them and such a push to be manipulating our physical bodies and experimenting upon them if they weren't essential and special. So I don't think that we should just be offering them up quite so easily. So I think that's something that we all should really meditate on. Why do they want to experiment upon our physical bodies so desperately? What is so special about them if we're told that we just return to dust? Think about that, because we're going to look at that more. Okay, so what I have here is a little book that I bought, and I came across some information in it that I would like to share. Don't be scared. We are told by our controllers in every area, religion being first and foremost. Yes, I believe in the story of Christ and the Christ template, our Christ archetype. That is what I am familiar with, and that is the archetype that I prefer to quote-unquote follow. But I do not hate or blame or shame Buddhist monks or Muslims. I think we all need to be sharing our journeys and the information that we have, because there are bits of truth in all of them, and we are told to keep away from certain things so that we are not informed and so that we are walking in ignorance, and ignorance itself is darkness. God's children perish for a lack of knowledge. So I'm going to read you a little bit of this. This is going to explain in a nutshell what is happening right now, but I gotta give you a little bit of context, so I'm going to start a little bit ahead. I'm going to read you about 3 or 4 pages. It won't take long. But I know videos that are beyond 4 or 5 minutes can be hard in these times. We don't have very long attention spans, but give yourselves time. Breathe. Take a minute. Don't be in such a rush. I promise this will be worth it. So I'm going to start. I did take a couple pictures just so you can see the parts that I highlighted for yourself. And you can just stop me if you want and read it for yourself, and turn me off if you like. Do that too. So we're going to start where I have it highlighted, okay? So this is Manly P. Hall. You're probably told that, oh, he's a Satanist. Oh, don't listen to him. You know, keep away, keep away. There's a reason we're told things like that, okay? And I may be a Christ follower, but religion itself, in and of itself, is not the way to go. And if you haven't figured that out yet, then I'm sorry. And I'm not hating on anybody. I love the religion that I was raised with. I have a real kinship with it, but at the same time, I understand, you know, that religion and government and the education system, all of these people in uniforms and all of these institutions go hand in hand. And I'm going to talk about that in the next video, about costumes and those who wear them. So if that interests you, stay tuned for the next video. That'll probably be posted after this one in a couple of hours. So, white magic is the service of the real, the consecration of life to the protection and folding of the real. It is the use of the forces of nature for the good of all. Black magic is the use of wisdom and its accompanying powers to gratify sensation, ambition, desires, greed, and that medley of function which we call the personality, or ego. It is inevitable its inevitable result is the destruction of the entire spiritual, physical structure. Wait a second, though. He said the destruction of spiritual, physical structure. Aren't we told that spirit is just inside the physical? Aha. Why are they after our DNA? Why is our blood so important to them? Why do these alleged aliens want these things from us so badly? Your bodies are vital. Vitality, right? You have to have vitality to be alive. Life. Let the dead bury the dead. Our bodies are so much more than you know. This is why they want to inhibit them, and this is why certain things are put in them to stamp certain abilities down. Those with ears, hear what I'm saying. 93. The white magician seeks to gain control over himself, right? Mind over matter. Use your mind to control the matter that is your body. That is your last task here, truly. It is alchemical. It is metaphysical. It is the controlling, the transfiguration of your physical body to a lighter, higher frequency body. That is the last task we should have before we ascend or transmute or transcend this plane. And I believe we are still on this earth. We just, I don't know how to explain it. It's like we're separated by this sheet of glass that's, sprayed with that fake snow. We just can't see each other. We're not going to bump into each other, and we're not going to, share that same space, but we are together in a sense. And because I've seen it. I've seen that veil begin to rise for me. The kingdom of heaven is surely at hand. Okay, let's get through this real quick. I'm sorry. Okay, so the white magician seeks to gain control over himself, his matter, mind over matter. It's literally the mind in the hierarchy of things is above the matter. The black magician seeks to gain control over others. Man has 4 centers of consciousness, 4 tangible assets, which he may consecrate to the attainment of reality. His mind, his heart, his vitality, and his physical body. A man may be forced to serve another if that one can temporarily or permanently secure dominion over any of these 4 centers. That's vital right there. You need to know that. You may be forced to serve another even without knowing it if you consent, okay? This is all about consent again, and this is why I'm reading it to you. Again, this is about breaking those chains and freeing yourselves from any unequal, narcissistic, sadistic relationships you might be chained to right now. And they might be political, they might be religious, they might be personal. Sit down and examine your life and evaluate things. Take the time for yourself, because time is also a structure and it is an illusion. God is outside of time. Once you realize that you have all the time in the world and that you are eternal, you can start breaking down and poking holes in all of the deceptions and illusions around you, just like I have. And this is why I'm trying to pass this along to you. And this message is not going to reach everybody. And that's okay. Okay, let's get through this. I apologize. It's already longer than I intended, but it's important to bring context to these messages. So a man can be forced to serve another if that one can temporarily or permanently secure dominion over any of these centers. To secure dominion over the physical body of another is to make that person a slave. To secure over the vital body is to steal the vitality of another person, as in vampirization, where one person lives off the life essences of another. A common example of this can be seen when young people are brought up in the association of elderly people. And I'm going to be really blunt about this. I believe this is why there are certain relationships that are forced upon us. I believe this is why there were orphan trains. I believe this is why certain people were kept from certain people. I believe this is why I was raised primarily around older people, and why my own parents, kind of seemed to not want a lot to do with me. I was there as a tool to serve a purpose, and when you no longer are serving a purpose for others, they deem you a liability. worthless, useless. And this is what we're seeing happen now. They're having a harvest or a culling, and they think it's humane, and they think what they're doing is right. And if you don't know what's happening, and you don't know your own souled being, human, mankind, inalienable rights that you have inside of you right now at this moment over yourself and your possessions and your belongings, if you don't understand these things, they can and will be taken from you and or used against you or co-opted. And that's the sad truth of the world that we're living in. Now, we are told that the nuclear family is a unit, and we are told that we should love, and some of us do. But these other ones are seeing our love and our compassion and our empathy as weaknesses. And to them, they are weaknesses. But in the grand scheme of things, our love and our compassion and our empathy is what, in our humility, is what allows our spirits to grow leaps and bounds. Our abusers didn't count on that, you see. They did not count on us growing as we are. Hold that close to you in these times. Okay, so let's get this done with. A common example of this is when young people are brought up in the association with a lot of old people. The radiant energy of the child is sapped by the older person. As a result, such children are usually very nervous and seldom strong. Another example of the control of the vital system is to be found in mediumship. I deal with this a lot. When decarnate spirits take ectoplasm, which you could say the essence, from the spleen of a medium in order to materialize. You see this with electronics. I have this problem when I go into a store, when I go up to the register. Sometimes they'll go down, they'll go wacky, lights will act funny around me, light bulbs will break and shatter. I have a strange effect on things. This usually results in the nervous and physical exhaustion of the medium. I believe this is where my physical pain, they say I have fibro. I believe it's from other things. And again, these are things we're going to talk about too, is the effect of the spiritual draining or manipulation on the physical body. And, they're saying it's physical things, and it may be, it's the experimentation part, but it derives mainly from the spiritual abuse that we're enduring. So the astral body, let's go to the next page. The astral body is usually attacked through, and this is what we're seeing right now, okay? And this is why I brought you some context to this. This is what started happening in 2019, and you'll see the note that I made to the left there, and I did videos on this. I'm going to talk about this again. Divoc is CV reversed, okay? A Divoc is a Jewish word for a demon that usually attaches to a person. It's that kind of demon. So I have to talk about that in relation to a very specific news story that broke. And I believe it's a fake news story, but it relates to targeted individuals. So if you're interested in that, watch for the next video later today. Okay. So, where were we? The astral body is usually attacked through an excess of feelings such as religious frenzy, grief, fear, or hate. This is very important. I believe this is what's happening right now. It started in 2019. They are wanting to see what they're seeing. They want people to believe it's the end of the world. They want people to believe it's the tribulation. But they really want people to believe it's an alien invasion. And I'm going to explain what that has to do with targeted individuals as well. I'm gonna tie all this up with a neat little bow in the next video for people that just want to know what's happening in a nutshell. So stay tuned for that. When a person realizes that he can influence others while they are incapable of reasoning because of emotional excess, and again, this is what I went through in 2018. I believe TIs were beta tests for what we saw break publicly in the world at the end of 2019 in America. When a person realizes that he can influence others while they're incapable of reasoning. Remember that. You're incapable of reasoning because you're panicking. Your emotions have been overly stimulated. They're in overdrive. Okay? And awakens They awaken these emotional excesses for the purpose of influencing the weaker ones. Here's the thing, though. They thought we were weaker. They had no idea they were literally gonna open our third eyes and waken these dormant parts of our brain. And I don't think they counted on that happening. But it did for a lot of us. As in the case of an evangelistic revival, such as Investigating Mind is a black magician, the sending of love, hate, or similar feelings to another in the hope of awakening a similar condition in them for selfish or personal reasons is also black magic. They wanted our third eye open because they wanted us in fear. They wanted to be able to manipulate and control the masses of the population because it had gotten too large for them to control. That's the thing. We're not overpopulated for the earth. We're overpopulated for the elites, for the top 1% to control us. We got too big. So they had to find ways to control us if they can't end us or get us to end ourselves. Mental black magic is far more complicated. So this is what they did. It includes practically all prosperity metaphysics. This is what they all did. You're going to say, well, how did they organize this? I'm going to tell you exactly how in the next video. They did it through autosuggestion. And they used the television. They used your friends. They used our family. They used our community. Through autosuggestion, mental suggestion, occult treatments, demonstration over environment. That's augmented reality. And conditions in people, hypnosis, mesmerism, personality, culture, and other varieties too numerous to mention. They cut people off from church. They cut people off from family. People's family acted different. They outcasted people. They isolated people because they know shunning is very bad for individuals. They know isolation is very bad for people and that it can cause your mind to act in funny and strange ways if you are an ecosystem unto yourself. They know this is doing negative things to most people. However, to a select few of us, it has awakened things that they weren't counting on. And it has awakened abilities that they weren't counting on. And we need to start using that to our advantage. Okay, I'm going to tie this up. I'm sorry it went so long. I appreciate you watching. And like I said, please watch for the next couple videos. In one way or another, it includes practically all religious and economic graft. In fact, every method in which the power of one person over another is used for the aggrandizement of the stronger. It covers every method of gaining superiority except those based on an honest use of the merit system. Those who can do a certain thing better than others do not need black magic in order to excel at all. We find under perversions of this idea such business subjects as psychological salesmanship and the like. The systems advocated work admirably, but they bring endless sorrow to whoever attempts to use them. So there's a lot more in here that's worth reading. If you want to get it, the book, it's like $3 on Amazon as for the paperback, and it is so worth it. This went much longer than I intended. I don't know if I'll break it up in 2 parts, but in a nutshell, this is what is happening. In the next video, I will tell you how they are doing it, if not why. So basically, I'm tying things up here. There's a reason I deleted my videos. It's pretty much because I wanted to see how people would behave around me. And I was right. People assumed that meant they could start messing with me again. And, I wanted to see if they assumed then that, I wouldn't have any protection. And they did. They started acting funny again and gaslighting me again. And they assume that means that they can harm me again, but I still do not consent. I am hopeful about the future, and God has made me certain promises that I totally believe and foresee happening. So, I'm in this till the end, and they can call us all crazy, those of us who believe in God, and, it's funny. There are people out there who make millions of dollars talking about metaphysics and being mediums and talking with God or talking with spirits. So, they can call them crazy too if they want, right? I just, you're only crazy if they don't like you or if they dislike you or if, there's a part of your message that is true. that goes against, that exposes them, right? They don't want to be exposed. And that's the problem with people like me. I'm going to end this, but there are a couple of videos that are very important that you need to watch. And like I said, this is exactly what they've been doing. And this is a book from Manly P. Hall, and it's older. It's nothing new. This is old information. So, you know, people don't read anymore, and they're counting on that. People don't inform themselves. People don't seek out knowledge, and they're counting on that we are in darkness and ignorant. Let's not prove them right. I love you. More very soon. Goodbye.